All right. We should be live. It is. That was good. I like that. It's official. Two things are official. I can never sleep properly, and I'll never be on time for anything on a Monday except for that one time. So
Except for that one time we were early.
I know the
And that was because I asked you to be early.
I know that's because Andrew took the reins there, and just like a sled dog. He was like guiding me, and it was like what was that, Snow Buddies or whatever that movie is?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was Snow Buddies that day. I even went to bed on time. I did. Hold on, I gotta grab my phone. I went to bed on time. I still slept like dog dookie, so it doesn't matter.
Awfully. It's okay. I was only sitting here for 30 minutes waiting on Brooks to get on.
Hey, you know what? That's just my fault. Which is true.
That's just books being. That's just books being books.
Better late than never. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna pull up the chat. I like this thing.
That's what I'm working on.
Siri, where are you?
Here I am.
And that's how I find her. I lose her all the time. I don't ever want to lose you. Oh God. So yeah, we for whatever reason my poor little body is still suffering from something. I might swing by urgent care after this and just be like, hey, what the hell is wrong with me? Because it feels like
Run
something
some
different.
Tests.
Yeah, just crunch the numbers, bro.
Well, to be honest, man, is it like you feel kind of tired constantly
It's like my throat hurts and
and you're drained?
that cough is lingering. It's probably this time it probably is actually strep. So
Maybe it could also be just like lingering stuff.
oh, it sure could be.
Because like I got strep and then I felt like crap for 2 weeks after I got strep.
Yeah,
So like it could just be that.
it could. Also, hello, Danny. Good morning. I'm gonna go ahead and put
What's
this.
up, Danny? Drop it in the Discord.
Yep. And then I'll put it in the community tab too, and then we'll start doing it here in a second. Community tab. Let's see. Live with episode 7. Perfect. And then Discord. Put it in. Oh, I get to start streaming again this week, I believe.
You could do?
I think so. I'll make it.
That's exciting.
I'll make a day at least for one stream.
What are you gonna stream, you think?
Episodes. I really don't know yet. I have no idea. Probably I'm trying to finish Final Fantasy as best I can.
It's episode 6.
Is it?
Yeah.
Last week was 6.
Or 7.
Did I say? Oh,
You put 6 on the thing.
son
okay,
of
just change it.
son of a bitch. I say, because I copied, because I forget how to type the title sometimes. So no, now that says E7. Hold on, give me a second.
No.
Oh, that's right. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah. 7.
E7. I like it. Okay. Very cool. Novice.
There we go.
Good morning, Novice. Also, the beard is back. It's coming back. It's not where I want it. I want it to be just like. So
Exploding off of your face.
I'm like halfway there, and then once I get it to a certain point, I want to get it trimmed professionally, and then just keep going. Let's see. Title me really have is playing Tears of the Kingdom. Oh yeah, I need to finish that on stream. I might finish it this week. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, me too.
I just gotta be the final boss, and then we're good to go on that game. But
I still have so much of that game to play. I just haven't had time.
yeah, that's the way it is. I was slammed last week. Like,
Just haven't had time. Yeah, dude, I did like very little audio work last week. I did mostly video editing work last week.
my man.
Which is weird for me. I'm trying to get caught up. I'm trying to get ahead is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to the point where I can do all of the Barndo stuff one day a month. Just do all of the episodes one day a month.
Yeah.
and then do another day of just doing home studio hangout episodes, and then I don't have to touch them for the rest until
Yeah,
the next
that's
month.
smart. I just feel like March has just been a shitty month. Just because
Everybody's been sick.
yeah, and just things have been happening, and it's just like a back and forth kind of deal, and stinks. But yeah, it's out of our control for sure. I should be better next week. I mean, I feel fine. It's just that I don't feel 100%. So
Yeah,
I like what it did to my voice. It kind of lowered my voice a little bit. So yeah,
made you all gravelly.
yeah, I like it. Yeah, I've just been drinking salt water and destroying my vocal cords and swallowing it.
Yeah, dude.
Swallowing glass.
Essentially.
Well, I'm ready to start if you're ready to start. Cause I got
1 second.
I got plenty to say about Zelda. Cause who doesn't?
I know.
But I need a Zelda tattoo. That's what I need. I have mine. I actually confirmed mine when I was at your house because I used that big book that you had to find them.
Oh yeah, I need to go grab that.
Yeah, you can get it, and then we can talk about
Let me
it.
go grab that.
Go get that.
Let me go grab that.
So for context, Andrew has a book, and it's just like all like Zelda lore, Zelda things, Zelda, anything you can think of. It's got it. And I picked out 2 of the symbols for tattoos. I want them on my shoulders eventually, just like 2 shoulder tattoos. And I'll talk about it when we record it. That way it's in the thing. But the Zelda Bible. I like that.
Oh.
You got the Zelda Bible on you.
Yeah. Dude, this thing is not small.
I know. I've held it.
Hefty,
It's
dude.
bigger. It's bigger in person.
Yeah. It's so thick.
Yeah.
Also, like the tops of the pages, it's kind of hard to see, but they're different colors based on
Yeah.
like the sections.
That's really nice. We
Like
got a little bit.
items, dungeons, and
Mm-hmm.
archives or database. It's database. What's the first one? Historical records, database, and archives is how it's broken
That's
up
awesome.
in the colors. But they also have 2 other ones that I want to get. Hold on. What is it called?
Yeah, I can imagine they have a bunch of those.
They have 2 more. They have Art and Artifacts, and they have Hyrule Historia.
I have heard of Hyrule Historia.
Hyrule Historia is the green one. And then the Art and Artifacts. I also want the Art and Artifacts one because it looks sick.
There is Art and Artifacts.
Yeah.
I like it. That's a good
Exactly.
crossover. They just write
Exactly.
Zelda Core.
But it's like, dude, it's every like piece of art from every Zelda. It's so cool.
I love Zelda so much, which is why we're going to
Yeah.
talk about it. You ready to go?
I think you would really enjoy that. It's also got a very cool I'm gonna send this to you so you can look at it real quick.
Yeah, well.
It's got a very cool version of the Triforce on the front of it, or like the winged Triforce. You know what I'm talking about? It's like sharper, and it's got like jaggedy edges and stuff.
Oh, yeah. It's more like a futuristic kind of like...
Yeah, it looks like they look like blades rather than wings.
That's not even expensive. Like 20...
No, like $24. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not even expensive.
I think the Art and Artifacts one is bigger than this one.
That's so sick. Wow.
But yeah, we can get rolling whenever you're ready.
All
Ready
right,
to
let's
talk about
hop in.
stuff. I got the list of Zelda games ready to go.
Sweet. All right. 3, 2, 1. Take it away.
Happy Monday and welcome back to the Things We Like podcast with Andrew and Brooks. I'm Andrew. That's Brooks. Brooks, how are we doing today?
We're late. However,
Per usual.
yeah. That's what I'm working on. I actually did go to bed early this Sunday. but I had terrible, horrible dreams. But anyways,
it did nothing.
It did nothing. But we're here. We're talking about Zelda. I'm really excited to be talking about this because we like to fluctuate on our. Oh, this is my for the Spotify viewers. I have like a little hand exercise thing. I'm just going to be picking it up and it's green, so
squishing it.
It fits the Zelda theme. I need to work my hands out anyway. They're kind of stiff, but yeah, I texted Andrew and I was like, "Hey, let's talk about Zelda because Zelda's rad." And
just because I love it so much.
And we like to fluctuate between like music, like maybe fantasy and then stuff. Games. Just a lot of different things.
I think we're gonna talk books soon as well. Because
I would love to. I need to pick out like a specific day of the week just to go and just turn my brain off and just read for like 5 hours.
You probably finish a book.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. So, I guess to start off, let me pull up the chat here.
Talking about Zelda.
Oh, Zelda.
Oh, Zelda. I didn't realize this has the list of every mainline Zelda game. Do you know the list of every mainline Zelda? How many there are?
Not off the top of my head, but I want to say 23.
20, I do believe.
I was close.
20.
I was close.
This doesn't include there's a separate list for remakes. So like Link's Awakening DX is technically a remake.
Yeah.
Ocarina of Time Master Quest and 3D and Four Swords Anniversary Edition, and then like all the 3D HD remakes or like the Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening for the Switch that came out.
Oh, that was so good. I can't wait to talk about that one.
I know. Dude, yeah.
My thing is,
and then there's a bunch of what they would consider spin-offs.
Yeah.
Which there was a ton of those. I actually haven't played.
Still waiting for my Zelda pinball, but we'll see.
And Hyrule Warriors.
Oh yeah, like the Dynasty Warriors type.
Yeah, I have not played that.
I've heard it was miserable to complete, like 100%.
Yeah, I also heard that it's actually one of the more fun of the Warriors games.
I'd like to try it.
I know, me too. It's like a hack and slash game. I mean, it's pretty easy.
Yep.
Defeat hordes of enemies. Seems fun.
Yep. I would love to try that eventually. I've never played a Dynasty Warriors game, but we'll see. We'll see. One of these days.
Well, Brooksy, what was the beginning of Zelda for you?
Yeah, that's sort of what I was going to ask you. Is basically like our first Zelda memory. Like for me, my memory is crap. Just it is. But the first really concrete memory I have of Zelda was having A Link to the Past. It was a used copy of A Link to the Past and Four Swords Adventure on the Game Boy Advance, and I played that everywhere. I loved that. Also, I got when I went to this daycare when I was really little, and I met a lot of my friends. That's where I met Dylan, which is crazy. Because we'd go there in the summer, and we'd just hang out and play video games and just do kid stuff. And I won this Pikachu N64 that I still have. And I also won a copy of Ocarina of Time because the person who had it had Ocarina of Time, and I remember playing Ocarina of Time in my living room when I was younger. And obviously this was past Ocarina of Time's prime, I guess, but I mean it's a classic game, so it's those are my two earliest memories of Zelda. And I was really into swords as a kid. I loved it. I would go out in our yard and just pretend and use my imagination and
Dude, did you ever go to, so this is a very vivid hyper specific memory for Southern people. Did you ever go to Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, and there's a store in Pigeon Forge, Sevierville area where they sell knives, and it's a knife shop, and they sell they have a whole section with swords.
Yep.
And there's a Zelda Master Sword there.
I was obsessed with those because of things obviously Kingdom Hearts too. But like I liked keyblades, but also swords from like Zelda. So like that was huge for me growing up because I also used to go to like the Renaissance Festival things in Atlanta.
Ren fairs.
Yeah, just because I loved, I mean, fantasy and like swords and all that stuff. It kind of just melds together. I'd love to go again, actually. But it's usually really hot in the summer, and like everybody's dressed up, but it's like super
chainmail,
scorching, dude. Like
I ain't trying to wear chainmail in the Georgia summer.
I want to wear chainmail over just regular clothes. That would be so funny. But yeah, those are my earliest Zelda memories. I'm still fighting off something. I don't know what it is, but it'll be fine.
My earliest Zelda memory, so similar, started in a similar place, but A Link to the Past, which came out when the year I was born, 91.
Yeah,
and it's funny because like we had a SNES at my house, and I distinctly remember getting and playing that game and loving it, but also being very confused because it didn't really give you any, like, especially as like, so at the time I would have probably been like 5 when that game came out, and I was cognizantly like able to understand what was happening. And like I remember playing that game, and they just kind of like throw you in.
Yeah, they do.
And they don't really let you know what's going on, especially back then. Like there was no like direction or anything.
Yeah, it starts out like it's storming. You wake up and you just go.
And you go find your dad.
Or is it your dad or your uncle?
Or your uncle or something. Yeah, your uncle.
Yeah.
It's your uncle. And yeah, and then you have to go find this like hyper specific place to pull a fern out of and then drop in.
Yeah, I love it. I've played that game so many times. That's my personal favorite Zelda game, and we'll go into like some of our favorites because we have multiple favorites. I have multiple favorites.
I definitely have multiple favorites. But so what's funny is that wasn't even the first Zelda game I ever beat, though.
Yeah.
At the same time, I had a Game Boy. So I was super into Pokemon. I got a Game Boy with like Pokemon Blue was my first Pokemon game, and I got Zelda Link's Awakening because it was the only Game Boy game at the time. I believe. I'm double checking myself. Yes, because the others didn't come until Game Boy Advance.
The only Zelda, the Game Boy Zelda title,
it was the only Zelda Game Boy Zelda title. And so I was like, oh, I love Zelda. I love A Link to the Past. I want to play this game. So I got that. It was, black and white, and was a little weirder because it was like half a Zelda game and it was like a fever dream, and like there's literally Mario stuff like all in it. Which is super cool. But that became one of my favorite Zelda games too, because it was my earliest instance of being able to actually beat a Zelda game.
Yes.
And there was that one, and then Ocarina of Time, obviously. That was the first one that I got where I was like mind blown, and it was my first 100+ hour game.
Yeah, that's a huge one.
You just wander sometimes. Like I would go in and just play for hours.
Yeah, I'm going to disappoint you right now. I have never beaten Ocarina of Time.
You need to stream beating Ocarina of Time.
I did once, like a couple years ago, and I got really stressed out because like I'm one of those people that like blind stuff stresses me out, and I've played most of the game. I've gotten to Ganon's Tower. I just never went through it. But like
there's multiple levels to that
not knowing where
boss
to go, especially if you're on stream, and it's like there's a pressure for me that like I generally don't like blind stuff, but if I'd love to try to break out of that eventually, but generally for me, I get super anxious and super frustrated if I don't know where to go like immediately because I'm super impatient when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I've never beaten that. And I definitely love the stream Ocarina of Time, and just like I think I was too caught up on doing the 100% run, which that really messed me up because it's like
you can't you need to play that game as the game.
That's true.
Before you worry about 100%ing.
That's
because that game That game has got so many random little things that it will take you hours to find all of it and actually 100%.
Yeah.
It was the first game I ever 100%ed, actually.
That's awesome.
I think it might be one of the I haven't 100%ed many games in my life just because
I haven't either. It's hard.
It
takes a lot of time, and sometimes they're just a pain in the ass to do.
Well, and especially with Zelda games, there's just like so many little things. It's an adventure game.
Yeah,
there's
it's very
so
specific.
many tiny things
dude,
that
like,
you gotta like
the fishing
find.
mini game I have done, and that's a bitch.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah,
That one stinks. Like, I love Ocarina of Time. I used to hate it, actually, and I'll get into that. But I used to be a little hater when I was a kid. Now I'm just I'm a hater, but I'm 27, so not much changes. But so I guess I'll go into that a little bit. Before I go into my more favorite Zelda games, I used to just despise Ocarina of Time, but I also was raised on, like, I came up on the YouTube, like the golden age of YouTube, where it was like super edgy, and it was like reviews came out, and then it's like I grew up on like video game reviews and like reviewers and stuff like that. So I feel like that made me really contrarian for like no reason to an extent.
Gotcha.
And like I was like, yeah, Ocarina of Time is not that great. I've played it. It's not that great. There are things that I don't like about it, but it's still a great game.
Yeah.
I mean, there's things I don't like about Elden Ring, and it's my favorite game, you know? There are things I don't like about Pokemon, but I love the Pokemon games. So, like, I think two things can be true, where it's like, you can love a game, but also be like, that part of that game sucks dick. You know what I mean? Like Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, they have this one, or actually two very annoying backtracking sections in the game.
Yeah.
And they stink, but the rest of the game is awesome. So... But anyway, I used to be a hater. Now I love Ocarina of Time. I think I can see the value in it now, and what it did for the series was amazing. And it just paved the way for like 3D games and adventure games, and like they already raised the bar with the first Zelda game, and then they looked to Ocarina of Time, and they were just like, how can we do that again? You know, so it's an amazing experience.
Yeah, and there are parts in Ocarina of Time where you can get stuck. You can accidentally, like, the game can be broken. You can lock yourself out of being able to finish a dungeon on accident. Like, you got to be really dumb to do it, but you can do it.
Don't test me.
there's a spot in the water temple where you can accidentally flood it, and
that
like it's unable to get. I believe I haven't done it myself because it's terrified me.
Yeah.
But I believe that there's a way that you can flood the temple, and like it's impossible, because after you flood it, like it's impossible to get it unflooded.
Do you have to like restart the dungeon by like stepping out and then going back in?
No, you have to like you have to like do a different save file.
Oh.
Like
Yikes.
you can't beat it.
Wow.
I believe. Now, don't hold me to that, because that's not something that I've not done, but that is a thing that I have heard from somebody.
That's the thing. Like, on our podcast, just a very side note, like, we never claim that we know everything. We just know what we know, and if we are wrong about it, we're like, being wrong is not a problem.
Us.
Yeah,
Tell us.
Being wrong is not a problem. I don't care.
I'd rather be correct.
Yeah, I'd rather be correct than just spreading misinformation, but
sure,
you know what I mean. But so some of my favorite Zelda titles are Twilight Princess is very damn good. I think I just love how dark it is. Like I think people love dark things. Like, people just love dark media. People love
It's funny that you say that, because the beginning of that game, Twilight Princess, is like the most cozy thing in the world.
It is awesome. I love the soundtrack of that game, specifically that soundtrack. It might be my favorite Zelda soundtrack.
Doing the cat thing, doing the horses thing, like
getting the baby, like you get that baby in the basket and bring it back to that woman.
Yeah, it's like the most like Farmville, like Stardew Valley-esque.
Yeah,
like,
and then you walk across the bridge and this demon hand comes out and it's like,
exactly.
God, it pulls you in.
And then everything changes.
0 to 100. I love Twilight Princess is so good because it's like purely based on the atmosphere alone. Twilight Princess is a beautiful game.
Yeah.
And I love Midna. Midna is one of my favorite characters. I think she's quirky, she's fun, but she's also like I won't spoil it, but there's a point in the game to where you just your heart breaks for that character. You're like, oh my god, like we care about her, even though she's a little annoying, she's a little like pushy, she's flawed.
I like her,
but I love Midna. And then by the end of the game, you're just like, I love this character, and definitely one of my favorites.
It has one of my favorite Ganon boss battles.
Oh
Twilight
yeah,
Princess does. It's the coolest. The Beast
thematically,
Ganon.
it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Where you like fight it on the wolf, and you take the hand, and you like flip
it's
it.
So sick. But then you transform back into yourself, and then you're fighting the like the wolfy beast version, and then he's like doing the rush thing at you and stuff.
Yeah, like the big pig version or whatever.
Yeah, it's so cool.
I love it. I love that game.
Would highly recommend, actually, if some of you haven't beaten that game, go find like a clip on YouTube.
I got close.
That boss battle.
Yeah, I got
it's
close.
It's very fun.
I got close to 100%ing it, but I think I missed because that game has 5 heart pieces instead of 4 per heart container, which is cool, but also a little annoying. But
very annoying.
I think I missed maybe 1 or 2, and I don't know where I missed them. So my original file has that on it, and it sucks. Also, one thing I don't like about it is the post souls, because you as Wolf Link, you can sense stuff. You go find post souls, rip them out, and then you take them to a guy, and you eventually just get money for it, which is fine. But I never feels like you should get
something. Feels like you should get something more beneficial for the amount of work that goes into it.
I don't remember if you get wallet upgrades from it or not, but some of them are easy enough to find on your own. But some of them are just kind of cryptic. I don't know. All I got to say about Twilight Princess overall is the atmosphere is beautiful. Characters are awesome. I love the fact that they bring back the hero of time to teach you. That's confirmed, right? It is the hero of time who teaches you all the flipping jump stuff. The combat was pushed a little bit more, not too much, but enough. And I love that game. And then my other favorite,
Twilight Princess, I'm really hoping is the one that they remake on the next iteration of the console.
Oh yeah.
I really hope that they go. I really hope that. So here's the thing. Next iteration of the console of the Switch is, people are rumoring next year. We think we'll have information by the end of this year, was what we're all hoping, I guess. Or maybe early next year. And they've done kind of around 2 games. They haven't done Twilight Princess, and they haven't done Wind Waker. And I really hope, and I know they already did Wind Waker. They already did Wind Waker for the Wii U, which actually, in my mind, means that it should be easier because it's already an HD remake to pull it over to the new console. So maybe they want to do the Twilight Princess remake in higher res, basically, upscale it or whatever they can do to it. Rework some of the mappings or something like that.
I would love to have that. I would pay for it.
I just want. Well, the problem is that outside of GameCube and the Wii, there's nowhere else to play Twilight Princess.
They had a Wii U port because they had Amiibo support for the dungeon.
Gotcha.
There's that one dungeon, and
I never had it on Wii U.
I never had a Wii U, period. So I never got to experience that. So I do think that, because, I won't get into this. This is completely for another day, but, Nintendo hates emulation. So,
well,
they
sure are using a whole lot of emulation on their virtual console to hate emulation.
They hate it when it's
not
used,
them.
Yeah, they hate it when it's not them. So they hate us because they ain't us.
Yeah, I really hope, and I am kind of getting sick and tired of remakes and ports and stuff.
But that's the only way to really preserve.
But that's the one. That's the one that I want.
Yeah,
personally,
exactly.
Is Twilight Princess. I want that HD remake. I don't care.
Yeah.
And if they want to do a remaster like they did with Metroid Prime and completely reskin it and everything, beautiful. That would be amazing. For
the sake of game preservation alone.
Yeah.
I understand being sick of remakes and remasters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the way Nintendo goes about, and this is, we'll get back onto specifically Zelda, but I just want to say, And to me, the fact that like remakes and remasters exist is the only way to like really preserve Nintendo games. Because they don't
outside of
like
ROMs.
emulation unless they're doing it, because the Virtual Console was ROMs and emulated ports of games. But when other people do it, and especially because like when you get like a paywall involved, like that's it sucks, but it's fair, I think, for them to do that.
Well, they're basically saying, hey, this big backlog, you get access to it for what is it, like $10, $20? I don't remember how much it is. I don't pay for it. Yeah,
but all that to say is like remasters and remakes, I feel like need to exist specifically for Nintendo for game preservation. Because like I would love a younger generation to hop into Twilight Princess, and you could still use amiibo support through the Switch.
Yeah,
and still get those, like you just port the Wii U version, dump it over, and then we have Wind Waker on the go, Twilight Princess on the go, and it would be beautiful. But
that's the other thing. Those games are actually very hard to emulate.
Yep.
Like on other things, they are, for some reason, like GameCube and Wii stuff is like pretty hard to get. I don't think there's a good emulator for those.
To my knowledge, people just use Dolphin, but
I know, but it's still not perfect.
Right.
Like it still has a ton of frame skipping. It still does some weird stuff sometimes.
That's not an area where I'm like super educated in, so like I can't confirm it, but I can understand where you're coming from, and like I can believe it when you say it. Like it's logical for me to be like, okay, yeah, that would make sense for that to be the case. But anyway, back to like strictly Zelda. My other favorite was Breath of the Wild. And I know your favorite of all time is like Tears of the Kingdom.
100%.
Breath of the Wild, to me, it's just based on our tastes. Like, I love more contained experiences and more specific contained things. And Breath of the Wild was that for me. It's like, okay, here's open world Zelda. There's weapons that already exist in the world. You can really go anywhere, but like things will get harder. You climb, you discover, you do this, and like I feel like it was more of a contained experience, and Tears of the Kingdom added a lot of new stuff to it, which is amazing. However, I liked the simplicity of Breath of the Wild. I've beaten it like at least twice to my knowledge, and that's a big ass game. So like, I don't
think I ever beat it. I think I need to replay it.
I love it. I love Breath of the Wild. I need to play it again.
I need to do a new game and just like start from the beginning and beat it.
I would like to 100%. I'd like to do all the side quests and stuff at least in Breath of the Wild.
I bet 100%ing that game is a pain.
Yeah, I would never get the Korok seeds. Fuck the Korok seeds.
You gotta get them to 100% it, man.
You get that. I don't even care. I'll spoil it now. It's basically a giant golden turd that you get for getting all 999 or whatever. However, I don't know how many there are. 900 or whatever they are in the game. Like, fuck that. Like, you ain't catching me dead with 900 Korok seeds in my fucking pocket. Like, hell no.
Yeah, dude. I think, I mean, I love them both. I think they're both incredible games, and I think they both are the penultimate versions of what Zelda was meant to be. Which, like, if you distill Zelda down to like a simple, like the simplicity of it, it is big adventure. So like discovery of areas, big adventure, puzzles, creativity through puzzles and map design, and combat.
I love it.
In my mind, those are like the three things that kind of make up a really great Zelda game, alongside the, whatever storyline they decide to go down. I think agree. Both of those games do both of those things. They just choose to do them in very different ways.
That's true. I want to hop into the chat before I get into the next topic, and I think you'll really like the next topic, but let's see. Hold on. We got Novice and Ghost in the chat. Let's see. Novice says, he took a nap yesterday and didn't go to sleep till like 1 a.m. Same, honestly. My first Zelda game was playing Wind Waker on my sister's GameCube. Wind Waker is a beautiful game. I remember playing it. I in one of those like little kiosks in like a Kmart or like a Walmart or whatever, and like it would be on the GameCube display thing or whatever somewhere, maybe like a Target or something, and I played it there. I do remember that. Ghost says one of the temples you can use a small key on a wrong door and screw yourself over also. Yeah, so back to what you were saying about like the water temple and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's so scary.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. I think that was when, because I mean, it was very early in 3D game design and that scale of game design as well. And so I think they were like, they let some things slip where they were like, oh, this could like legitimately break the game, make it unplayable.
Yep. And Nava says they want to play Twilight Princess really badly, and I'm like, I want to play it again. I'd love to hop back into that game. And Ghost is on your side. He's like, please no more remakes. Because
that's the only remake that I want, man, is Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
After that, like, I'm good, because like it's available. You can get the rest of them available.
Yeah.
Wind Waker, you can get. There's ROMs for that are good enough.
Yeah.
And so Twilight Princess is the only one that like I haven't been able to play.
Yeah, Novice also
since that game came out.
Yeah, they say that they would love to play. They bought a Switch for Breath of the Wild specifically, so they'd love Twilight Princess. Also, sub Cody. Good morning, Cody. He said my first Zelda game was Minish Cap. I had so much fun with that game. I like Minish Cap. And in the very same breath.
Yeah, I would actually love to talk about this.
Yeah.
Because Minish Cap is a game that I have never played. What are some Zelda games that you have played?
The CDI games.
Really?
I really want to play the fucking CDI games.
Which ones are all of the ones that you haven't? Like, which ones are the ones that you haven't played that you're like, I really want to play this game?
Oracle of Ages and Seasons. I think I may have like dabbled for like 5 minutes when I was a kid.
I love Oracle.
I really want to play. I gotta find a way to play the CDI games. Like there's Wand of Gamelon. There is there's the other one. Like you play as Zelda.
Faces of Evil.
Faces of Evil.
Zelda's Adventure.
Yeah, you're right. So there's like the Triforce of like horribleness that is the CDI games. I really want to play those just to say I did. I haven't really played Skyward Sword. I've played a little bit of it. I've had it, and then I let my friend Matthew borrow it, and then I never saw it again.
Skyward Sword is super cool because Skyward Sword, you can see the precursor. Because Skyward Sword was the game that came out right before, as far as the big 3D Zelda games, it was the game that came out before Breath of the Wild, and you can see in that game a lot of stuff that they took and like were testing for these newer two games that they definitely perfected in the newer two games. Like a lot of the sky travel stuff 100% was in Skyward Sword.
I'm
first.
99% sure that my original copy of Skyward Sword is with my friend Matthew, which makes me really happy because he loves Zelda too. So
yeah, you can get the HD version.
I can get the Switch version eventually, and that one I really haven't played too much. I really haven't played like I'm trying to think. Wow, there haven't been many Zelda games that I haven't played, which is maybe Zelda 2, the NES Zelda 2. I've dabbled. Like I have played most, if not most Zelda games, right? To some capacity, but I haven't played them. Also, good morning, Chloe. Happy Monday to Chloe specifically.
Happy Monday to Chloe specifically, Chloe.
But yeah, like I've really dabbled in that or those games, but I haven't really like played them. So Minish Cap, there's a lot of really cool things about the Minish Cap. I think the soundtrack is awesome. I think it looks great on the Game Boy Advance.
It's the cel-shaded style.
Yeah, it's really cool. There's a lot of really cool power-ups in that game. There's like a wind jar. You could like suck stuff up, and then you could like push air out to like be on like a leaf and like push away. There's the Rock's Feather, or the Rock's Cape or something like that, where you jump and then you could like glide. They have some really cool locations, and it's a really cool concept to go from like big to small. So there's a lot of things to love about it. I don't really like the Kinstone system all that much, which Kinstones are basically like you can get them in the world, and some of them you have to like gamble for, and they're really hard to get. It's a very difficult game to 100%. So,
Gotcha.
but it is worth playing just to play it.
I have never played Minish Cap.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those games that I like because it was a Game Boy Advance game, and I don't know how I missed it. I want to say, if I remember correctly, that was around the same time as Wind Waker.
Yeah.
And right before Twilight Princess, and I was very Wind Waker obsessed.
Yeah.
So I want to say that like I just didn't worry about Minish Cap because I was highly obsessed with Wind Waker at that point.
I've never played Link's Crossbow Training, if that makes you feel any better.
I mean, I haven't either. Yeah, I haven't played that one.
There's that
I never
one.
had the thing.
There's another one that I was thinking of that I haven't really.
So I'll go through mine real quick while you're trying to remember that.
Yeah.
I think I've played most Zelda games, but there's a gap in my playing, and it's mostly the handhelds, which is funny because the handheld original Link's Awakening handheld is like one of my favorites. I've played all of these. So Majora's Mask, I've played a little bit of, but I didn't get very far. And I never owned a copy of it.
That game stresses me out. That game stresses me the hell out.
That's another reason why I never
that one is such a like that is a real true like you're a real gamer if you like play, beat, and love Majora's Mask. It's a great game. Yeah. It is a great game. But just for me, like the time thing is just very stressful. And I feel like I would just be so unga bunga about it that I would not be able to like do it in time, and I'd have to reset stuff and just go over and over.
So I was more of a Ocarina of Time guy, and it came out a couple of years after, but I was still very much locked in to the Ocarina of Time stuff. And then I will say I also played a lot of Oracle of Ages and Seasons. Those were some of my favorite games because it's essentially a very similar game style to Link's Awakening. It looks very similar. It's like the art style and stuff is very similar. It is such a good game, and the game's like doing stuff in one game like feeds into the other game. Yeah, very Pokemon-esque in that way. But there are certain things you can only do in one game, and to 100% that game, you have to have both games.
That's cool. I mean, it isn't, but it is. You know what I mean? It's like having Pokemon.
It is cool. Like, it's also not cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
to 100% the Pokedex, you have to have both Pokemon games.
Yeah, you gotta have Red and Blue, or somebody has to have access to it. You know.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about underrated Zelda titles because
let me go through. There's a big one that I haven't played.
Okay, yeah, finish that, and then we'll hop into the next thing.
It's funny, because, like, one of my favorite games of all time, you know, A Link to the Past, so good. But I never played Link Between Worlds.
That's what I literally was about to talk about that one.
Because I did not have a 3DS.
I had a 2DS. I had the doorstop.
Yeah, but I didn't have either of them. Like, I just skipped that console entirely.
I used to have.
I didn't have a DS. Oh yeah, and because I never got to play Spirit Tracks or Phantom Hourglass either.
Oh yeah.
So I never had a DS or a 3DS. I skipped that handheld console generation entirely because that was when I was in college at that point.
Yeah,
so
that's about right.
Money.
So I had like a. I really wish I didn't sell it, but I sold it. I sold a lot of stuff in college because I was stupid. Like I sold like a guitar, like one of my dad's guitars that I loved, and I sold my I had like a custom Metroid 3DS, and it was beautiful. It was a beautiful piece of like hardware, and I sold it because I'm stupid. But A Link Between Worlds, I 100% of that game. It was awesome. It was, like I said, I like contained experiences, and that one was so simple and perfect for what it was. You know, I hated the baseball minigame. That sucked ass. Other than that, it was...
Even though technically it's the sequel, right?
Yeah. So there's like A Link to the Past and Link Between Worlds came after that. And like, it's a great game. I love the look of the game. I loved playing it. It was great. Also, underrated Zelda games for me. I think that one's the most underrated. I think Phantom Hourglass is underrated to an extent. It is, but it isn't. It's like in that weird purgatory of like people love it, but also a lot of people have never played it, and also a lot of people have like they love it, but also a lot of people hate it because like there are
Yeah.
things to hate about that game. Like going through the time dungeon, you have to do it. It's like, so essentially it's like if there are 5 floors, the first time you go through floor 1 and it's like, all right. The next time you do, you have to go through floor 1 and floor 2 and you're like, all right. The next time you do, you have to go through floor 1, floor 2, and floor 3, and you're like, okay, this is starting to suck ass. And then you go through 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you have to do it. You don't skip. So it's like a huge pain. But that game is really cool. It is worth playing. I didn't care too much for Spirit Tracks.
I heard there was some cool lore stuff.
There is,
like, the bad guy was really cool. There's a lot of cool world
Linebeck
building.
is a great character. I love Linebeck. Yeah. He's such a funny guy.
But I think the thing that, well, one, I didn't even have a DS, so like I couldn't have played it if I wanted to.
Man, I wish I could go back in time and change that for you because the DS is like one of the best consoles ever made. I
know. It is one of their most selling consoles. I just never had one.
We should do I wish we could do a whole episode on like consoles.
Yeah, we can definitely do that soon.
Sorry, my brain just exploded. We have so many consoles to talk about.
I know, but yeah, I never got to play either of those games because after GameCube, we got a Wii in 2011 when that came out. But
were you and married? Were you and Aaron married at the time or just dating at the time?
No. We didn't start dating until like 2015.
Okay.
No.
So we is in like your family.
Hold on a second.
Get it right.
I have to think about time. We got married in 2015.
Gotcha.
So we started dating in 2012.
Gotcha. So it was like a year before. All you needed to do was buy the Wii, and then Aaron was like, "This guy's pretty cool." I don't know if I just squeezed my throat. Ugh.
Well, it was a family console for us.
Yeah.
But it was definitely like one of those things where I was in college right before that, and so I didn't own anything. And I definitely didn't have money to buy video games at this point.
Right. Like, I didn't either in college.
I think I was bumming my friend's Steam login and playing like Half-Life 2. Like that's how I was getting my video game fix.
That's how I was gaming
Yeah, was bumming my friend's Steam login on my beat up old like HP desktop or HP laptop.
That's so sick.
School. But while I was learning music theory. But yeah, Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass, I always thought seemed kind of clunky just because it's all touchscreen based, right?
Yeah, that's what I like
doing
about
everything is touchscreen based.
But like, let's say for the purpose of emulation, you're trying to preserve it and play it and like
makes it impossible.
Not quite impossible, just really, really tough. Because like you got to imagine you'd be like using the mouse cursor to like move Link and stuff like that, and you don't use because like all of the movement is with the stylus. So you don't really like the D-pad is for like menu stuff. So you're like holding it and it's cool. Man, my throat. Holy God, it's cool. But
grab water.
I have some over there, but it's just I have to get up. You know me. But yeah, I like those games enough. So I think the most underrated one would probably be, honestly, like A Link Between Worlds, really Minish Cap, because the more I think about it, the more I actually really like it. I used to hate it too. I used to hate Minish Cap, but the more I think about it, I'm like, that is a damn cool game. And like, I also think that Phantom Hourglass is underrated because there's a lot of really cool stuff in that game, like the ship parts and like building your ships and like taking notes and like, hey, I got to remember this and like using the items and stuff. It's a cool game. There are a lot of cool bosses. So
I think that Ocarina of Time Master Quest.
Oh yeah, that's how I
probably
played that.
The most underrated. Very few people got to play it.
That's a good take.
The only reason I got it is because I pre-ordered Wind Waker. So it was a limited pre-order bonus with Wind Waker. And I got one. And this is crazy because now if I still had that copy of that game, it would be incredibly valuable.
Oh yeah.
Incredible. They only made like a super limited amount of those.
Yeah.
For North America and Japan. So like, and I'm glad that I got one. It was super cool. I was very early on the pre-order.
Yeah.
And it was it was like, I think back then pre-orders for video games were pretty rare.
Yeah, that's the one that I haven't played too. Also, not Dynasty, the Hyrule Warriors I haven't played.
Yeah.
So
well, Master Quest is essentially just the same game as Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, except everything's harder.
Don't they change the dungeon layouts to a certain degree?
Dungeon layouts are more complicated. I think enemies do double damage.
Wow.
It's like a Dark Souls version of playing Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina of Time sort of kind of has some like Dark Souls-y type things to them, you know, like like if you go to the Shadow Temple, that's like, oh, that's what I want to get into next. Hold on, I know my brain, but Shadow Temple had like, if you go to that and you go to like the graveyard area, you have like the Gibdos, and like you've also got the those like zombies that like attach to you and like take your energy, and like it's creepy as hell. And you're a child, you're like Child Link too. It's like when you go to get the Sun Song in Ocarina of Time, you got to go to the grave, and then you got to do that, and then like and you could whip their ass. But I want to talk about, Andrew, what are some of your favorite Zelda dungeons?
Oh god,
I know. If you want me to start with mine, I kind of have them off
go
the top
for it,
of my
because
head.
I have to think about that.
A lot of my favorite Zelda dungeons come from Twilight Princess. Like I love the Arbiter's Grounds from Twilight Princess. That's the one where you fight like the big skull guy on the spinning top.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll never forget that. I think some of the dungeons or a lot of the dungeons in Twilight Princess are so spooky and like weird and dark, and then you go to like you go to that area in the sky, and there's all those like gears, and it's like very mechanically complex. But then their water temple is also really creepy. Like you swim to the bottom, and then you fight that big eel thing, and then the Goron temple where you use the magnetic boots, and you like, that game is just so fucking memorable to me. I love it. Also from like, I love the very first temple in Ocarina of Time, like the Deku Tree. I think the Deku Tree is that's like one of the most perfect tutorial dungeons in Zelda. I love that so much. And the Forest Temple from Ocarina of Time, when you're Adult Link the first time, I love the atmosphere. I love how creepy it is. I love the boss fight. I love that you like shoot the paintings and then like it turns the thing, and like, oh dude, I love those. Yeah. Most of my favorite dungeons again are from like Twilight Princess, because those are literally the most memorable ones to me. I also, this is not really a dungeon, but I love like the beginning of Wind Waker, where you're like, you get captured by the big eagle guy, and then he drops you off in the thing, and you have to stealth around to get your sword back, and then you do that. I love that portion of the game. So yeah, there's so many really awesome.
I thought of a couple.
Yeah,
I thought of a couple.
I want to hear
so there's in A Link to the Past, there's the Cyclops dungeon, which is like the first dungeon you get to whenever you go into the alternate dimension.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
That one I thought it was super cool, but it's also complex because like.
Wait, is it the one where you
Is it? It's where you get the arrow for the first time, and you can only shoot people like in the eye.
Oh like, yeah, where they turn around. Okay, I know.
Yeah, the hitbox is like super tiny on everybody, and so it's like actually really hard to play.
The final boss in that one is the armored guys where they jump and they like those.
I think that's one of them. Yeah, I think that's that one's insanely weird and fun. I really like this is similar to the other place. I really liked in Ocarina of Time whenever you have to sneak into Hyrule Castle.
Yeah, I do too. That's fun.
I love that one. That one's super fun. But that's just more of like a area. Yeah. As far as dungeons go, Ocarina of Time, I love what's it called? The fire dungeon, the second dungeon you do.
Oh,
as Kid Link.
the Dongo's Cavern?
Yeah, the Dongo's Cavern.
Yeah. That one's
I love
cool.
that one. I thought that one was super fun. Mainly because it's like the first time you feel like everything's trying to kill you.
Yeah, that one's like the stakes are risen and like...
Yeah, because you jump from Deku Tree, inside the Deku Tree, which is like fine, to Dodongo's Cavern, which is there's lava and fire and things trying to kill you and lizards everywhere.
Yeah.
So like that was the first time I felt like the stakes were like, whoa. Another one is a more recent game, in Tears of the Kingdom. The first time this is one, the level design is just crazy cool. But number two, it's the moment. Whenever you go into the Wind Temple in Tears of the Kingdom,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
The climbing, after all of the climbing that you've done, and you've scaled the map, and then you go over, and that drop, and then the camera just pivots down, and there's a giant ship, and you're like, holy crap, this is awesome.
Now, I'm not the biggest Tears of the Kingdom guy. I 1000% agree with that. I'll never forget that.
That
was
moment
like,
is so memorable.
It takes
in my
forever
opinion.
to figure out how to get up there, and it's like such a journey.
You die so much.
Yeah, it's a journey to get up there, and you're like jumping from thing to thing, and it's cold. You have to use like the cold gear, or like eat stuff that makes you warm. And then you jump on those things, you're getting closer and closer, and you finally jump on that big one, and you go right into that big cloud, the circular cloud thing, and you just fall in, and it's just like, oh, take my money, please. Just like here.
Yeah, dude, it's so good. Yeah, and that dungeon, the ship dungeon in general, is just super cool because it's a lot of flying like around the ship. So it's like it's not only using the ship itself, but you have to go outside of the ship to get into the side portions in order to navigate. And I thought that was really interesting, is like using the outside portions. The other one that I really, really liked was the I think it's the one with the eagle in Link's Awakening, the Eagle's Tower.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking
It's one of the last couple dungeons, and it's like really complicated because you have to like break the walls and make the levels drop and stuff.
I need to play that game again.
It's so good. But the end is where you climb up to the top, and it's like that side scroll. It's one of the few times it's a side scroll boss.
Oh, is that Angler's Tunnel?
Eagles, the eagle's dropping down on the top.
You're on the top, and you have to like jump over him. I was thinking Angler's Tunnel, where you go in and you fight the fish, and it's like a side-scrolling boss, and you chop it. It's an easy boss, but it's a fun one. It's easy. I love feeling overpowered. Okay, so are you a red guy or a blue guy in Link's Awakening? Are you do you get the power or do you get the defense? I need to know.
I think it depends on what I'm doing. I think most of the time I get defense because I trust myself to swing a whole bunch. I don't trust myself to dodge well.
That's true. Yeah, I feel that.
I think that's like how I am with most games. Like I'm like for chat, we've talked about Hollow Knight a whole bunch.
Yeah.
But my son has decided that he loves watching me play Hollow Knight. And so a lot of the pendants that I've been picking up are defense focused because I trust myself to hit a whole bunch and, just stand there and slash a whole bunch and just like try not to get destroyed.
Yeah, I feel that. So a few more dungeons that I like that you made me think of was I love Turtle Rock from A Link to the Past, where you have to fight like both of them, and then you can use the ice rod to freeze the guy, and then you hit him, but you don't have to. And the flame rod, the ice and the flame rod, you could use them together. You don't have to, but you can. I also love the first Dark World dungeon where you get the hammer, and you gotta like the big guy. You have to smash his armor off his face. I don't remember his name because they have like pretty unique names for the. And there's also the dungeon where you have to like. I do know it's the Thieves' Hideout, where you like use the thing and you pull the pitchfork off the thing and you go in.
Oh,
that was the one that stumped me. I was like, when you're
going through, you end up where Zelda is inside the chapel or whatever.
Yeah, you like rescue. Well, you rescue that princess, but it's like a fake princess, and then she turns into that big monster with like it's like the sheet and then the big red head thing, and then like that's Thieves' Hideout, I believe. And then you use the light and it like exposes it. Like I love that. So yeah, there's so many good Zelda dungeons that I love.
There's a bunch that I can't remember from Skyward Sword. Yeah. That were really, really cool. I looked up a list of best Zelda dungeons. Skullwoods, Link to the Past.
Yeah.
Bottle Grotto, Link's Awakening, the second one where you have to have old Chompy Boy from Mario to actually get into it. Swamp Palace, fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You have to drain the swamp.
Yeah, you drain it from the outside and then it affects the inside. It's like
so
very
good.
Cool.
Eagle's Tower, Link's Awakening, I said that one.
Yeah.
Deepwood Shrine, Minish Cap. I think that's the first one. That's the first one.
You basically fight like a chew, like one of those like the little green
giant one.
But yeah, you use the jar and you like suck away the bottom of him, and then like he falls over and then you hit him. Like it's really cool. I love it, and it's like such a cool.
Arbiter's Ground. You said Arbiter's Ground.
That's like that. Oh, I think my favorite Zelda dungeon of all time has to be the snowy area in
Snow Peak Ruins.
Snow Peak Ruins.
That's the one after. That's the one after it.
So you meet Yeto and Yetta, or Yetta, whatever, and then like Yetta is sick, and you're like trying to figure out, and you go through the dungeon and you get like stuff to make a soup with, and you figure out that Yetta is possessed by one of the mirror shards, and then the reveal where she turns her head around and she's like like that. It's amazing. I'll never forget that shit. And then once you defeat the boss and you get the thing, you like Yeto and Yetta like hug each other and a bunch of hearts come out and they like float in the air, and then the heart container comes out. I'm like, it's either Arbiter's Grounds or that one. And you get the ball and chain weapon, and it's just like, put it into my veins.
So the next one was Ancient Cistern, Skyward Sword. Skyward Sword, in general, has really interesting level design because it's not like a place where you enter necessarily. It's like the whole dungeon is a giant puzzle. And that's how they work in those. So it's like an area, and then you have a giant puzzle that is a dungeon.
You go back and forth between the past and the future in that game, don't you? Aren't there like certain areas where it's like in Skyward Sword, like some dungeons where you like, because you fight the big guy in the spiral tower thing.
You do a lot. You do a lot in going like up and down. So you go from the main world to the sky world a whole lot. So you kind of go back and forth between there a lot. But yeah, it's really cool. That one's really cool. It also says Forest Temple, Ocarina of Time. Also would agree with that. Forest Temple is awesome.
I love it.
Ghost Ganon is an incredible boss fight.
It's so spooky too. Like I love how scary it is.
It's so cool. And you fight the wolves at the gate. It's so cool. The final trial of Breath of the Wild, the Champions Ballad.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever done that.
They have.
Was that the DLC?
Yes, Champions Ballad DLC. Yeah.
I've got to play. That's one thing I need to do. I'd love to stream that, is do the Breath of the Wild DLC.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Stone Temple, which is the Majora's Mask, which I haven't played.
That one is.
So I don't.
So I've seen full playthroughs of Majora's Mask, so I know what happens. I've never gotten that far in the game.
Apparently, that one's really creepy.
The Stone Temple is scary as shit, because like, I think it has to do with a lot of like spirits, and like it's very like, it's a sacred area, and then like the boss is crazy because it's this big worm, but you put on this mask and Kid Link turns into this giant, and you just
that's sick.
But that game's scary too. Like Majora's Mask is a scary game. I think.
Tower of the Gods, Wind Waker. It's that tower island that you go to and you have to fight up.
Tower of the Gods, is that like, is that where you get the Master Sword?
It's where.
Or is that like the final one?
I don't remember. It's where you I haven't played that game in so long.
Me neither.
It says players use the shifting water level to access different levels of the tower.
I think
it's like a variation. It's like a variation on the water temple from Ocarina of Time.
I'm pretty sure that's where you get the Master Sword, and then you figure out that like Tetra is like a descendant of Zelda or something. I love Tetra, by the way. She's one of my favorites.
I think that's where all that happened.
Something like that.
Ice Ruins, which is A Link Between Worlds.
Yeah,
I never played A Link Between Worlds. Shadow Temple, Ocarina of Time. Bro, that level is so freaking awesome. That's number 2.
You get the big ship, and and then the guy with the bongos, you have to shoot him in the hand with the arrows.
Dude, it's so cool, and once again, so creepy.
What list is it, and what is there? I want to know their top one.
So this is GameSpot. This is according to GameSpot. And number 1 is Hyrule Castle, Breath of the Wild. The very, very end.
Man, I don't know if I agree with that one.
That's what their number 1 is.
It's awesome. Well, because if you've ever watched a speedrunner do that, basically you could get there within like 10 minutes. You like shoot yourself over, and you could just go shoot yourself straight. I've seen them do it. It's wild. But like, I don't know. I feel like there's got to be more of like a...
Well, it says it's based not on the speedrunner idea. It's based on like after dozens of hours of being in an open world scenario where everything is just kind of sprawling, and the fact that you're now enclosed and everything is so tight is a part of the reason.
Yeah.
And it's all mechanical puzzle box designs of the Divine Beast. It's like very different for the rest compared to the rest of the game.
I could understand that.
I think that's why they also like it's basically once you set foot in it, if you're playing it straight with no speed running, it's basically a giant build up Calamity game.
Okay.
The whole time. Just like the build up is just tension. You're fighting things and fighting things and fighting things, and then you finally get to Calamity Ganon.
Yeah, I think that's cool. Calamity Ganon's a cool fight. It just takes it takes everything that you've. But when you if you
literally everything.
If you play Breath of the Wild, I mean play it, do everything, do all the Divine Beasts, do all the stuff, do all the extra stuff. Then you fight Calamity Ganon, you whoop his ass. And it's a good feeling. I'm one of those people. One of my hot takes in gaming, I wish I put it in the podcast, was I love being overpowered in games. I don't necessarily like too much of a struggle or too much of a challenge. And, I'm a FromSoft guy, so I'm a hypocrite, but it's fine. But, I love the feeling of just whooping everything's ass. You know what I mean?
Constantly, yeah.
It's great. It's almost like a like a power fantasy type deal where you go in and you just mop the floor with everything, and you just
I think you'd like Dynasty Warriors games actually because you kind of feel that way. But once you start getting power-ups and stuff.
Yeah. I just love I miss Zelda Dungeons, and I want to talk about that because according to the creators, I want to make sure that I'm not saying random shit. Is Eiji Aonuma, right?
Aonuma? Yeah.
Eiji Aonuma. Aonuma talks about future of Zelda. Said that open world games are the future following the success of Breath of the Wild. Let me just show this. So podcast watch. So we'll go here. So this is from Enemy. So basically what he said is that open world is the future, which kind of worries me a little bit because I do like the dungeon format, and then there's a bunch of shit.
But but they did do a really good job, I think, of Breath of the Wild and in Tears of the Kingdom of making at least in Tears of the Kingdom, I haven't played enough of Breath of the Wild to know, but at least in Tears of the Kingdom, they did a really great job of showing like you can still do a dungeon type thing.
Yeah, and they were like, it's basically like, as somebody who has beaten Breath of the Wild multiple times, the dungeons like Varuda, whatever, like those Divine Beast type deals, they're like light dungeons. Because the thing that I don't like about them is they all look the same because they're inside of the Divine Beast. It's a cool concept, but like you almost wish that there was like a unique style to it, because everything looks the same. It looks like it's just a mechanical creature type deal, and then you fight like a calamity inside of it. So
I think Tears of the Kingdom probably did a better job with the like different stuff.
Yeah, they did. I think they did, because like
they took the concept of the open worldness and like the little like I think in Breath of the Wild it's collecting like the little tears thing, like the little droplets. And then in Tears of the Kingdom it's collecting like the stones. But like the different, getting those things, I think it would. I think those things are cool as far as like the puzzles, but then like changing up what they did from between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, I think they made it still feel more like dungeons.
Yeah. So I would be upset if like they just completely rule out the idea of dungeons in Zelda.
I don't think they're going to.
I think a hybrid would be like you have the open world, but when you go to a dungeon, it's like a dungeon, like it's like a Zelda dungeon,
like you're locked
type
in.
Beat. But like you also have the open world to explore. You have the open world to like look at, and it's almost like, and I know I talk about this game all the time, but if they made like an Elden Ring approach, but also had legacy dungeons in them, I think that's the key for Zelda, I think. But let's go ahead and hop into the chat, because we got a few more people here. Eli and Gus, what's up? Good morning, guys. Or good afternoon, technically, now from where we are. Phantom Hourglass is cool. That's what Eli was talking about. Minish Cap also did a talking hat before Odyssey, so ahead of its time. That's funny.
True.
My brother had Master Mode Ocarina of Time that came with Wind Waker pre-order in a super third-party looking box.
It really did. It came with the pre-order of Wind Waker. Yeah, and it looked like this weird like off-brand thing. But that's how it was limited edition too. Probably.
That's cool. Yeah, and then Eli says the spinning top fight is the coolest boss fight in Zelda. Yeah, I love it. Until Radon, I'd say that was my favorite boss fight ever. Yeah, that's very good takes back to back.
Yeah.
And then Novice says, I distinctly remember Shady playing the Desert Dungeon and was like, it titled it SMTH, like, Let It Rip. Oh, yeah, because it's sort of like a Beyblade kind of deal.
Yeah.
And then I think that was the first series I ever watched for Shady. Shout out to Shady Penguin. Love the dude. Xant's armor is sick. Dude, the introduction of the character of Xant is like this most intimidating, like he's like a big presence. He's kind of like he's working for Ganon and is like an underling of Ganon, but he's like a commander in a way. He comes in, he makes Zelda surrender, and he's like super intimidating when you see him in the music. But then when you fight him in his actual arena, you just realize he's just a crazy asshole, and he literally is just like this unhinged, just like toddler. And the juxtaposition, it ruins it for some people. For me, that elevates the character, because it's like this really intimidating guy is like just a big man child ultimately, and you discover that, and then you kick his ass, and then it just highlights how like there are intimidating figures, but then once you like really understand them, they're like pitiful.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that resonates with me for whatever reason. He said, speaking of the ball and chain, hold on. I used to practice my flurry rushing in Breath of the Wild on Lionel's with mixed results. It was better in Breath of the Wild than it is in Tears of the Kingdom. Because for whatever reason, I think that they had to nerf it. They had to have nerfed that, because Breath of the Wild, I can get a flurry rush every time. In Tears of the Kingdom, it's like, good luck.
Yeah.
And Lionel's are way harder in Tears of the Kingdom, I think. Also, speaking of Ball and Chain, amazing song by Janis Joplin. Agreed. They really put a good amount of stank in that song. Also, Tower of the Gods is so sick it comes out of the sea.
It was so sick, dude. The moment that thing comes out of the ocean, you're like, holy crap.
Like, I will say this.
It's one of those moments.
Yeah, I will say this about two things about Zelda games in general and Wind Waker. Zelda games have this amazing ability to just hit you with a moment that you will never forget. Whether 100%. It's like the Tears of the Kingdom falling into the big thing, or when it was seeing Yetta turn around and was like, like that, like the face that she makes, or
the moment you wake up as a dog in Twilight Princess and it pans out and you're in like, see the Hyrule Castle like all destroyed and decrepit.
Yeah, and like the first time
around and stuff.
Yeah, the first time you get grabbed by the hand and you get taken to the Twilight Realm. When you, I'm trying to think of other ones like Ocarina of Time, where you pull the Master Sword and it turns out that was Ganon's plan the whole time. Like, Zelda games are so beautiful in the way that they are just created to have these lasting impressions, and when they hit, dude, they hit so hard.
It's my favorite game series of all time.
Oh yeah, it's an amazing series. And then Gus says Twilight Princess is his favorite Zelda game, which I love that because
that's a fair, honestly, fair shout. To me, every Zelda game has the capacity to be somebody's favorite Zelda game.
Oh yeah, for sure. Except the CDI games. Well, sure. Actually, I disagree because they're funny as shit. So fair. If you're into funny games, you can make me crouch and I can do the duck walk. And he goes, cool, huh? Like, that's stupid. But I think Breath of the Wild, having shrines but also some big dungeons instead of the beast would have been much cooler. I agree. I think having like the legacy dungeon idea would have been great. And it was huge to like the
talking about the Tower of God.
Oh yeah,
up until that point, everything had been like, I mean, pretty big, but like it was massive.
How could I forget the first time you walk out of the cave in Breath of the Wild and you see the open world? Unforgettable. We'll never forget that. Even though I forgot that. But
same moment for me when you jump off of the island in Tears of the Kingdom.
That's a beautiful moment too.
Oh god, and the music hits just perfect.
So I know we're kind of like getting to the tail end of this, but one last thing I want to just briefly go over is the music, because we're music guys.
God,
and I know
so good.
There's so much to talk about in Zelda.
Game.
So like Twilight Princess is my personal favorite soundtrack because you've got Ordon Village, you've got you've got like you've got the Gerudo Desert. And it's like, so amazing. And then you've got stuff like Lake Hylia. Lake Hylia always has good music, but the version in Twilight Princess is so good. Yeah. And I also love, dude, the battle with the Shadow Beast. It's like dissonant. Just that is the scariest song I can think of in a video game. Period. It's just and it's just like it's like It's just the most random arpeggiated shit, and it's like. Even like, okay, I think one of the scariest songs I've ever heard in a video game is Nito's theme from Dark Souls. But I think the Shadow Beast theme tops that a little bit, just by how chaotic and like stressful it is. Because Nito is like more traditionally scary, but like that is just so unnerving. And it's just like, also like A Link to the Past soundtrack is amazing. The Dark World theme is iconic. Ocarina of Time, like you've got the title.
Ocarina of Time is basically all music.
It is amazing. It's so good.
You have all the songs that you play that are set. I mean, the Song of Storms is easily one of the most recognizable, and Zelda's Lullaby are the couple of the most easily recognizable Zelda.
Oh
things.
Yeah, like did Koji Kondo did that, right?
I actually don't know.
I think he did. Koji Kondo Zelda. Well, he made the original Zelda theme.
He did Zelda's theme, and then he did the original Legend of Zelda's theme. He's done all the main title themes, I think.
So, a cool fact about Koji Kondo, I think, let me see, original Zelda, original theme, last minute. I think he made this like super last minute. So the theme, the da 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 da.
Yeah.
10 last minute changes that made. I think it was. Yeah, so I'm gonna pull this up. The theme song was devised just before the original game's release, and he had like okay, I think this is it. So yeah, Koji, the dun 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 dun, that was literally like pulled out of his ass, essentially.
Really?
Yeah, according to legend, and that is so iconic. Just the fact that something that amazing was just done. I mean, that's just the power of music. I mean, I feel like you and I, as like people who make music and write songs, it's like some of the best songs ever written were done in 5 minutes.
I really enjoy a lot of the temple, like it's less music and more just like the atmosphere, sound design aspect of some of these things are really cool. Like when you're in all of like the temple, the shrines, the parts, and it's like kind of quiet, and it's all of this creepy ethereal music that's like, and you just hear, especially in Tears of the Kingdom, that you're fighting a lot of like the robots in there, like a lot of the mech stuff, and it's like the creaking of like the gears and stuff just kind of around, and it's like the etherealness of that is
so
cool.
Those games, the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, they take a very minimalist approach to music and the soundtracks. And
that's why I like it. I think that's very
because
cool
it's
too.
like it's very minimal. But you know, in Breath of the Wild, when like there is that one really stressful theme of like, I don't remember when it plays, but it's like most of the time there's not a lot of music. But then when music does happen, it's just like, whoa.
Is it the Guardian battle?
Yes, it is the Guardian battle. That's it. Thank you. That's the Guardian battle, and it's so stressful. But yeah, I love Zelda music, and I wish I had more time to talk about it, but
I just like the Tears of the Kingdom walking music, like when you're just in the open world and like you're just vibing, walking around.
It's amazing. And then like Hyrule Field,
Field, same thing.
For Ocarina of Time and for Twilight Princess. I like the Twilight Princess version because it goes from like really like upbeat to like kind of this scary like
somber thing.
Like it's wild. I think actually Ocarina of Time does that too, to an extent. I don't remember off the top of my head. But,
I don't remember. It's been a while.
But yeah,
I love wander. There's nothing more than I love a big 3D Zelda game than just wandering.
Yeah, it's amazing. Get lost.
Just walking around.
I need to play. I want to do. Eventually, I want to sit down and play all the Final Fantasy games. I want to play all the Zelda games.
Yeah.
And just do them like almost in order, or just play them how I like to play them and just do Zelda, and then Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Because those games are awesome to get lost in. But any final thoughts on Zelda that you want to toss in before we wrap things up?
It's my favorite gaming franchise of all time, and I love it so much. And I think that it's got so much cool lore and backstory, and I can spend hours. I could dangerously spend days.
Yeah.
Even just like reading like this book, like this encyclopedia book that I have, like it's got so much cool stuff in it, and like all the tokens and all the little things in it. Like I don't know. There's just so much cool information about all the games and these kind of things. I could spend days and hours on that thing, and I love it so much, and I will always sing its praises. I don't think that there is a bad mainline.
I don't think so either. I think you might not like everything that they have in them, because like I don't think there's a.
It's not bad.
Oh, I thought you froze for a second, but you didn't.
No.
But like there are things like I'm not eager to play Majora's Mask because it stresses me out. But like I can appreciate the game for what it is, because the side quests and that, like Kefka getting married.
Well, there's some really fun characters in that game.
Yeah, like the whole marriage right before the end of the world is such a beautiful thing, and like and then like going to stop the zombies from taking the cows on the ranch. And
yeah.
So it's just amazing. So my final thoughts on Zelda is like, and it's funny, we didn't really talk about the original Legend of Zelda, which changed everything.
I know.
You know, it just defined everything.
It was essentially the first open world game.
That's true. That is true. Yeah. I have always loved Zelda. The older I get, the more I love it. It ages like wine. For me, there's so many memorable aspects to Zelda, especially like for me, Twilight Princess is arguably the most memorable, just because of how thematic it is and just the atmosphere and stuff. But A Link to the Past is my personal favorite, just because I'm biased towards that. Breath of the Wild was huge for me because I love open world games. Those are my top 3. But there's so many good Zelda titles to pick from that you can't go wrong. There's always one Zelda game for at least one person, and I think that's a great thing. So, I think that about wraps things up. Thank you guys for watching. You want to send us off, Andrew?
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. If you want to check this after the stream, this will be posted on the Things We Like channel on YouTube at Things We Like Pod, or on, if you like listening only for all my audio people, we have it posted on all available audio platforms for you to download and listen to at your leisure. Please give a like, a share, and a subscribe to both Brooksy, me, and the Things We Like Pod channel. That's be super kind of you. And if you enjoyed it, drop a comment or your favorite emoji and show us some love.
And don't forget, hey, listen. Sorry, I just traumatized everybody. We'll see y'all next time. Love you guys. Bye. That was great.
Man.
That was a good episode. I love
Hey,
Zelda.
listen.
Hey, listen.
Hey, listen.
Let's see. Eli says Yiga clan boss fight was cool too. I did like that one. And especially finding the Yiga clan's hideout in Breath of the Wild was really fun too. Picking between Breath of the Wild and Twilight Princess is hard for me. I agree. I would pick probably Twilight Princess just because of the atmosphere and the themes and the it's much more memorable.
I haven't played enough of Breath of the Wild to be able to confidently say either or, but I would say Twilight Princess because I
TP is probably my favorite experience. Yeah, Twilight. I gotta play that game soon. I have my Wii is sitting right up here, and I actually have an HD converter for my Wii, so I can play the original GameCube version of Twilight Princess, which that's what it was originally made for. You know,
that's how I originally played it.
Yeah, it came out. I actually have the guidebook too as well to 100% everything, but it's for the Wii. So the Wii is mirrored to be right-handed, so you can most people are right-handed. So,
swing.
But Link is left-handed in the GameCube version, so it's like mirrored. I've played both of them. I love both of them. Gus said he enjoys.
Four Swords was really cool. Four Swords I never played a lot of because it was really based on the multiplayer aspect of the game.
Yes.
Same for Triforce Warriors, I believe.
Oh yeah, I did play Four Sword with my cousin. I think at one point it was very briefly, but yeah,
I think the game is made better if you play it with other people, and I just
totally
didn't want to have
it's
to
hard.
deal with all that.
So you could get the Game Boy Advance version and do like the Four Sword Adventure thing with that, and
but I've heard it's like really hard
everything
by
up.
yourself.
I like the purple Link a lot. I just think that's such a weird off-color.
Yeah,
purple Link.
You don't
is really
get that
cool.
a lot. You get blue and red and green every other time.
Yeah, I wish we had gotten to talk about more of the upgrades and the power-ups and the armors and stuff like that, because there's so much about Zelda to talk about. Like some of my favorite power, I like the double claw shot, where it's like you could be like psh, psh, pretty much Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, yeah.
That, and then like the ball and chain, and then the top. Even though they don't really have too many crazy practical uses, they're really fun. Like they're really fun to use. And then there's the Dominion Rod, which you can use and like control things, and like that's where you fight the big Goma.
It's really interesting, like the very different types of power up that they have across all the games.
Minish Cap has some of the coolest ones. I think.
Super interesting. Well, like they're all unique, and then sometimes you have like these weird things that you're just like, how did they think of that?
Some of them
this way.
I'm trying to think of some of them that I don't particularly care for all that much. Like, but it's really hard, you know. Like
they're all cool.
Yeah,
and they're at least unique.
I love the
and
boots.
Usable inside the game.
Yeah, I think magnetizing the iron boots in Twilight Princess is genius.
So, I always thought like the boots thing was really cool. The boots in Ocarina of Time specifically, I actually always thought was like the worst part of the game.
Yeah, because you have to. Well, on the original console,
you had to hop in and out of menus and swap your. There was no easy way to swap your stuff.
They fixed that with the 3DS. You would. I think. Oh, you didn't really have a 3DS or DS, but
yeah,
if you played the Ocarina of Time 3DS remake, I think you would fall in love with it even harder because like they have menu options to where you could just like switch the boots on, switch the boots off, and like it's just like a quality of life upgrade that is really nice for that.
Yeah.
Plus, you can aim with the DS. Like if I don't really do that myself, but if you wanted to aim with the DS and like shoot arrows and stuff like that, you can do that
for sure.
So yeah, I just Zelda's really good. So we have a lot of new. I did think of this during the thing. We have a lot of options gaming wise to talk about consoles. Which I would love to talk about consoles eventually.
Yeah, next week I think we're going to talk with Will. I have to confirm that with him.
That's awesome. So we may have our first guest next week, everybody. So that's great.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Got my friend Will coming on. He goes by hey, my name is Zip, I believe, on YouTube.
Yeah.
He talks a lot about
I'm going to link him.
Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts stuff.
Could you link his channel in the chat? Because I want to find it myself. But yeah, Zelda is amazing. And I need to stream and play more of them.
Yeah, it's I'm trying to find his things. Let's see. Why is his channel so hard to find? What is his thing? I'm gonna have to find it. I'm also looking all this up on the Barndo. This is gonna be very funny. I'm looking at this on the Barndo YouTube.
You're gonna destroy the Barndo algorithm.
Let's see. It was called.
Is it Zip News?
No,
because that's not. I thought he had two P's in his name.
Yeah, I thought it was two as well. It's something to do with. I'm trying to think of the game that he did because he was talking about Final Fantasy. It was Final Fantasy, but it was something else. Let me swap over to mine because I probably am subscribed to him there. Pretty sure I'm subscribed to him on mine. Oh, it's hi. My name is Zip, not hey. And it's got a big Z on the front of it. Do at hi. My name is ZIPP.
Okay.
At hi.
Oh.
All one word.
Mine.
ZIPP.
That's it. Yep. I'm going to link it. You probably already did, but I'll link it.
I haven't yet.
There it is. So he should be on next week. I'm looking forward to it. I need to catch up.
Yeah,
on
hopefully I gotta make sure that that's the case. But yes, and so he does a lot of talking about Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts. He knows a lot of the lore behind all of this stuff. He did a whole piece on the legacy of Final Fantasy versus 13.
Yeah.
You should watch that. It's really, really great.
That's sick. So
it's a 26-minute piece that he did.
There's the one I see is most popular is a myth based in Final
Fantasy.
Yeah,
that's the one. Talking about the legacy of Final Fantasy versus. Yeah, versus 13.
That's cool. Yeah, I've seen
really
it in my
cool.
chat a few times before. So, yeah, I don't know. I might, if I'm feeling it, I might stream tonight and I really just need to finish Final Fantasy 1. It's bothering the shit out of me. But anyways, I think we'll wrap up the stream. Thank you guys for showing up. Thank you guys for hanging out. And we will see you next week.
Yep.
Or I might see you tonight. Who knows? I don't
Who
know.
knows?
All right.